Alright, so the purpose of this video is to just create a simple program using the Apache NetBeans 12 IDE. So this is geared towards persons who would prefer to use NetBeans over something like Eclipse or maybe IntelliJ. Alright, so we won't be creating a boring Hello World program. We'll actually be creating something a little bit more fun. Alright, so I've already installed Apache NetBeans, and I did a previous video where I showed you how to install Apache NetBeans along with the Java development kit. Alright, so I'll just open up NetBeans. Alright, so I'll just create a program that will basically sum the values in an array and find the average of the values in the array as well. Alright, so while we wait on NetBeans to get started. Alright, and don't worry, this is not a lesson on array. The main thing you need to take away from this is basically just how to create a simple program in the NetBeans IDE. Alright, so it's more about how to navigate around NetBeans in a sense, doing the most basic stuff or most basic thing, which is to create a project and then write your program. Alright, now so to create a new project, I could simply click on this new project icon here, or I could go to file and click new project. Alright, now under categories I have a few options. So there is Java with Maven, Java with Gradle, Java with Ant. Now I'm just going to keep it simple and go down here and select Java with Ant. I would also advise persons to do some additional research, look up the difference between Java with Maven, Java with Gradle versus Java with Ant. Alright, again I select Java with Ant, I come over the project side and I'm going to select Java application. I'm going to click next. Alright, so I'm going to name my project. So I'm going to give my project a name. I'm going to call it array sum. Alright, the project location is the default location, so it is being stored in my documents folder and into a subfolder called NetBeans projects. Now if you want to change that location, you could simply click on the browse and save it wherever you want to. I'm going to leave it in the NetBeans projects folder. Alright, now I want to keep create main class. I want to keep this option checked because I do want it to create the main a class with the main method for me. Alright, so I'm going to click finish. Pretty straightforward. Now you realize it gives me my package name, so I don't have to go and specify any package anywhere else. So it gives me my package name. Alright, let me just get rid of these comments just to create some space. Get rid of this as well. I mean, you could leave them, but I just want to get rid of them. So take this out, make this a single line comment. Alright, get rid of this. Alright, so I'm going to go right ahead now and start creating or start typing my code. Alright, so first things first, I'm going to create an array. So it's an integer array. integer array. I'm going to call it numbers, and I'm going to store the following numbers. So I'm going to store 2 minus 9, 0, 5, 12, negative 25, 22, 9, 8, and 12 again. Alright? You're like, whoa. But it's okay. If you haven't done array as yet, then it's no big deal. As I said, the main focus here is just to show you how to create your project, write your code, and then run said code in the NetBeans IDE. Alright, so let me create an integer to store the sum. I'm going to initialize that to 0. I'm going to store, well, I need to create an integer. I'm gonna create a double. Alright, that will store the average. Alright. So this is where for loop comes in, right? For loop plays a big role as it relates to traversing or going through an array. Alright, so I'm going to use the for loop to access the array elements. Let me just put a comment using for loop to access array elements. Alright. Keeping it as simple as possible, I'm going to use a for each loop. Alright, so let me use a for each loop, because again the focus is not on arrays or loops, it's just how to create a project and then run our project using NetBeans. So I'm going to say for, if I can spell for int number and then the name of the array is numbers. So the int number will represent each element in the numbers array. Alright. Inside my array I want to find the sum, so I'm going to say sum is equal to, I'm going to just add and assign at the same time. So plus equal is me adding and then assigning at the same time. So I am adding each number from the array, I'm adding it to the initial sum value, or whatever the sum value is. So the sum value will start out being 0. So the first time through the loop I'll add 2 to the 0, and then it will continue adding each number and then reassigning that value to sum. Right? Alright, so that is inside our for loop. let me just get the length of the array. So let me say int array length is equal to, so I want to now store the length of the array inside my new variable that I'm calling array length. So let me say so the name of the array dot length, as you see it is suggested to us here. Alright, let me just make this a little bit fancier. Alright, so I now want to calculate the average, and we all know that when we are finding average of numbers, we add those numbers together and then divide them by the amount of numbers we have. Alright, so if we should go back, so we want to add these numbers together, that would be the sum. Now to find the average, I would have to divide by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Right? So to find the average, we find the sum and then divide by 10. Now the length of the array should be 10. So we get the array length here and we store that into a variable called array length. Alright? So let's say average is equal to sum divide by array length. Right? Now I'm going to display the sum and the average. So I'm going to say system dot out dot print ln, and I'm just going to say the sum is, and then whatever has been stored in the sum variable, I'm going to concatenate that. Right. I'm going to do the same for, so this is system that out. So I'm doing the same thing for the average. So I'm just printing out the average as well. Print ln the average is going to concatenate whatever is in the average variable of average. Alright, so if all goes well, our program should work. So let's run it, cross our fingers and hope. Alright, so this is telling us that the sum is 36 and the average is 3. No, is that correct? So we can double check. So we could add these together and then we divide by 10. Alright, so let me show you something else, which, as I say, we're not really focusing on arrays or anything else apart from just how to create a simple program and run a simple program in NetBeans. But then I guess there are some additional concepts that I can bring out as well. Alright, so let me make these, let me make some double. So I'm going to turn sum into a double. So I'm doing some type casting. So let me turn array length into a double as well, just to see if it will make a difference. Alright, so we run our program again. Alright, so this time around you realize it gives us the correct or the exact average, because what I did was just some typecasting to ensure that sum is read as a double and that the array length is read as a double. Therefore the sum is 36, and then we divide that 36 by 10, we would get 3.6. Alright, so again the focus is really on creating a project in NetBeans. So you would go to the projects, new project option. I selected Ant for this time around, and I select Java application. I click next, give my application a name, alright, so that already exists, so I'm going to change this to iWorld. Alright, create a project folder. Alright, create a class, finish. And you realize I didn't have to, once I gave my project a name, I didn't have to specify any package. It basically put it in a package for me. Finish. Alright, that's basically it. Let me just complete this one. So let me say system dot out dot print ln. Alright, and then we just simply click our run project menu icon, and there it says iWorld. So that is how you create a project in NetBeans. Alright, as always, happy programming and enjoy your Java as much as possible.